The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
All right, back on the David Pakman Show. Lewis really liking some of the new music on the show, don't you, Lewis?
It's pretty catchy.
Make sure that if you really want to support the show, if you want to support producer Lewis in wearing or not wearing shoes during the show, or in having so many glasses of water before the show that every single commercial break he needs to go to the bathroom. If that's appealing to you and all the other stuff we talk about on the show, I have to say, Lewis, become a David Pakman Show member. davidpakman.com/membership. You'll get the podcast commercial free, the bonus show, the archive of shows. It's really, there's so many reasons to do it, Lewis.
Mm-hmm. And I can't think of any reasons not to do it.
No.
So
that's
do
weird.
It.
I can't think of any either.
Well, let's not try to think of any.
Yeah, no, that's the last list we need to be filling
Off
up.
the top of our heads, we can't come up with any.
No. Christian college in Georgia is, or rather, a Christian college in Georgia called Shorter University is forcing staff to sign a pledge against homosexuality or risk being fired.
This is not just homosexuality, right?
A lot of other things, too.
Premarital sex and alcohol as well.
You also need to pledge against those things. Personal lifestyle statement is what it's being called, and it includes pledging that you are against homosexuality, you're against premarital sex, you're against alcohol. The university president, whose name is Don Dowless, wants to put this I guess it's being called an interpretation of biblical principles in the school, and he wants his 200 staff members to comply with what he says is biblical law. This is according to what he told a local reporter. I think anybody who adheres to a lifestyle that is outside of what the biblical mandate is and of what the board has passed, including the president, would not be allowed to continue here. Anything outside that is not biblical, we do not accept. We have a right to hire only Christians. This is a pretty clear-cut case of discrimination, but before we even get to that, if your concern, Mr. Dowless, is that people adhere to the Bible strictly, then what about including in there that it's okay for people to sell their daughters into slavery, right? I mean, that's in the Bible, Lewis. I don't see them concerned about adhering to that too strictly. Mm-hmm. What about making sure that people are allowed to, if you are a professor, for example, at this Shorter university, and you have a daughter, if your daughter isn't allowed to prove to her husband on her wedding day that she's a virgin, you've got to make sure that her new husband stones her to death in front of you. Because, Lewis, that's in the Bible. And really the concern at Shorter University is to strictly adhere to that Bible.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this pledge, they should have also included masturbation because you cannot spill your seed
upon the ground.
Right.
Thank you, Lewis.
So clearly, they have an agenda.
Right.
They are not strictly biblical here, right?
Doesn't seem strict to me.
Let me ask you this. What other work of fiction could you point to and say it would be acceptable for someone to prescribe rules at a college according to what goes on in the book?
Well, the thing is, people who are true believers in the Bible don't believe it's a work of fiction.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about reality.
So you're saying if we were to take this aside from considering that the Bible is considered separate from other prose, right?
Would this be breaking a law of some sort, is what I'm asking.
If you were to say, you know, what's in 1984, and by the way, I know we can't hear a word Natan's saying. Well, I don't know what's going on. You just need to get right up to that microphone, Natan. Thank you.
Like this?
Yeah, that's very good. No, there's no other work that we could say the college is going to make you sign something that says you will live by what this writing says, and if you don't, you're fired. This is a clear case of discrimination, okay? It's an attempt to establish biblical law. It's a slap in the face to constitutional and U.S. law. I mean, what stops other businesses, hospitals, schools, other organizations from adopting these draconian laws? Not to mention, biblical law is delusional and it's authoritarian, okay? In a world where biblical law is the law of the land, the freedoms and rights guaranteed by the Constitution that so many conservatives claim to hold so dear would become completely null and void if we were to say biblical law is now what we must adhere to. So this is un-American. This is one of the greatest risks that I see, this type of stuff, to this country moving forward and being a leader when it comes to science research, when it comes to technology, when it comes to learning, when it comes to logic and reason and any even tenuous grasp on reality and the facts, Lewis. This is a problem.
But being a private school, this is still legal, I take it,
I
right?
don't know that. I don't know that for a fact. It's not
Yeah.
clear. There are a lot of questions about that. A lot of questions about that. And again, if we're going to strictly adhere to the Bible, let's do the stoning of daughters who can't prove they're virgins on their wedding days. Let's do the stoning of people who eat shrimp. Let's do the whole thing, Lewis.
Sure, yeah. Why not? We can't just pick and choose here, right?
No, certainly not.